Just down the road from Allegiant Stadium and mere hours before WrestleMania 41 Night 1, the NXT talent said to themselves, let's kick off this weekend right. And boy, did they. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE NXT Stand and Deliver 2025. Let me know your thoughts on this event in the comments, please. Yes, this event is being reviewed hours after it happened because I was working and I was just able to catch up right after WrestleMania 41 Night 1 was completed. And that review is up on the channel. You can check that out. And I will say this much. I didn't love everything on this show, but I loved enough to definitely recommend it. I will say that the NXT talents showed up, showed out, and did what they needed to do to absolutely give this crowd what they wanted. They were in the T-Mobile Arena, 20,000 seating capacity. They had about 8,000 to 9,000. I will say they made quite a bit of noise. Vic, Corey, and unfortunately Booker T on commentary. Booker T is rotten. He is really, really apocalyptically bad. He is so fucking terrible. I cannot watch NXT regularly. If they remove him from commentary and just have Vic and Corey, I'll be fine with that. Because Booker used to be entertaining. Now he's just a goddamn goof that just speaks in sound bites like he's being shocked back to life. Like he's in a fucking coma. It's like, oh yeah. It's not funny. Anyway, you know what wasn't funny? The fact that they decided to just shove a whole bunch of women onto the pre-show. Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Ooh, she is for real. They were the Vegas Showgirls for some reason. They took on Fallon Henley and JC Jane along with Jasmine Nix. I think that's her name. Fatal Influence. And they took on Gigi and Tatum with Shotzi in the corner. Is Shotzi going to wrestle again? Genuine question. I mean, I know she was out for a while with an ACL injury, but whatever. Against Cora and Roxanne. You shouldn't turn on your tag partner tonight. So it's an elimination tag team contenders match. The winning team faces off against either Liv or Raquel. Then again, by the time this thing posts, and by the time some of you may see this, we may know who they're going to face off against. Okay, Booker, again, so bad. That was the last time I will say anything about Booker T on commentary. The match was decent for what it was. It was definitely a way to kick off the show properly. Everybody dove. There was a Pop Rocks that pinned Lash. That got some boos. And I think the crowd drank a lot of booze. Roxanne then assesses the situation sometime later and says, well, Cora, you do this. I'll go home. And Cora ends up getting eliminated. I did note, can Gigi and Tatum tie me up like that? I don't have issues. Shut up, you have issues. Double superplex and cemetery drive, I think is what their finish is. Gigi and Tatum. They got the victory, so okay. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really know why they did the weird Vegas-inspired video like they did. I thought we were, either doing Gold Prospectors or Oppenheimer at first. Still, anything they included involving Oppenheimer would be better than the movie Oppenheimer, and you can fight me in the comments on that. Ricky Saints, a.k.a. the former Ricky Starks, took on Ethan Page in a North American Championship match. Tony Fumbles chants, and also thank you Tony chants. At least I think I heard the thank you Tony chants. There was an apron slam by Ethan. Ricky decided to jump and crash right on the table for some reason. And there was a knee focus, back focus. Ethan can work. This is about the most interested I have been in anything that Ethan has done in a while. Ricky got busted in the mouth. It was a precursor, a harbinger of things to come, and bearing the harboning of things to come. I don't know why I decided to go with that, because I think 3 people got busted in the mouth. It was Ricky, it was Tiffy, and it was Punk. Maybe there were other people. There was a nice sling slam by Page that got a 2 count, and then there was an Ego's Edge for 2, and eventually Ricky fired up, would hit the Rochambeau, 1, 2, 3, decent match for what it was. Just crazy to think where these guys were even a year ago. Well, was Ethan in NXT a year ago? Nevertheless, Ricky, thrilled for him. Got to see, some of his earlier indie work. I'm really, really thrilled for him. So, Frazier and Axiom took on Hank and Tank for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I first noted, what the fuck happened to tag team wrestling? Why are they dressed up like Discount Public Enemy? Hank and Tank, that is. Now, despite my reservations and my unyielding just disdain for what has happened to tag team wrestling in WWE, I admit that Frazier and Axiom are very good. I also admit that Hank and Tank clearly are over with the crowd. Then again, this is the NXT crowd, and they used to cheer Chase U, so I don't really know about taste. They did boo the Wendy Chu Kalani Jordan match, so at least they have some sense. So, they got me into this more than I expected. I'm not saying I loved it, but I certainly liked it more than I thought. The chants were more heelish. Hank and Tank fought back. They built this well. They layered it with some good hope spots and near falls. They got the crowd roaring. They got the crowd going. I don't know why Tank hurled himself stupidly at the table. Really don't know about that. Spanish Fly and then a Phoenix Splash for 2 because that got broken up right when it seemed like all hope was lost. Hank decided to dive, come back from the dead, dive in and break up the pin. That got a big pop, so they built that shit well. The Boss Man Slam, a dive, a collision, and then a power slam. 1, 2, 3, and new tag team champions. I'm thinking that Fraxium will be called up. They need something for the goddamn tag team division. And actually, after New Day won the tag team titles, I hate to say it, calling them up to Raw and having them beat New Day and, maybe holding them for a bit might not be the worst thing in the goddamn world. They need some fresh blood there. And Fraxium really has done all they can do in NXT. Unless they want to break them up in I don't know if they really should do that because they're desperate for tag teams. At least good tag, or at least interesting tag teams. Maybe have them against the Creeds. Maybe make the Creeds interesting like they were for about 5 seconds. That being said, didn't love it, but it certainly had me more interested than I expected. They got me into the near falls. So, Penn and Teller were backstage making the Heritage Cup disappear. Can they make Lexus King's stupid hair disappear? So, North American Women's Championship ladder match. Oh boy, another ladder match. They don't need to keep doing ladder matches. Why do these championships always end up in, like a ladder situation around Stand and Deliver? Like, that's how Indy became the women's champion, and then she busted her ankle, unfortunately, and I think they did that with the North American Championship last year, or am I thinking, or did they not do the North American Championship until the summer? Whole point is they tend to do ladder matches for no reason. That being said, Thea Hale has recently returned. She's all grown up or whatever, for a real woman. She's every woman. Apparently, Whitney Houston was a big influence on her. Hopefully not that much of an influence. No, Thea, don't singing in the bathtub like Whitney did. Lola Vice, who can kick and shake her ass. That's really about what I gather from her character or gimmick. Izzy Dame, I guess it's Sean Spears' group, The Culling. Why are there so many stupid groups in NXT? Kalani Jordan, certainly bouncing and behaving hair. I will say that Kalani actually is a good athlete. Zarya and Sol Ruka, they've had good alliance recently. Sol's very gifted. Zarya certainly has good power. I'm kind of sick of the ladder match stuff, as I have said. I will say, though, while it was messy, they did enough good stuff to get the crowd rolling. Though there were parts where they were just waiting around for their spots. And I'm sorry, you shouldn't have so many inexperienced people in this. Yes, you need to have people gain more experience by being in, big matches and stuff like that. But they really should have made this a six-pack challenge in elimination. Yes, it would have been just like the women's tag, but it would have made more sense. At one point, Izzy said to Lola, "Suck it." There's a P slur that I'm not going to say that's in Spanish. You guys know what it is. So the Cullings show up because we needed Sean Spears on this card. I don't know who else is in that. I think they said Jensen in it. That is the son of Bull Buchanan, and they're using him about as well as they end up using Bull Buchanan. So Thea ends up getting pushed off the ladder and falls on everybody. And then we get ladder crash fever. Everybody just starts doing bumps and beating each other up. Sol jumps up on the ladder. Sol, if there's one thing that got over in this match with me, is Sol Ruka's talent. I mean, Sol's good and has done good stuff before. Zarya just, throws Kalani at one point. That was on top of the pile. And then the Lasses face off at the top. So we're getting at least a little story building and the friends face off and whatnot. And we did get, we got like Sol basically just, lifting herself up backwards to kick Zarya off. And then she hit a Soul Snatcher off the ladder onto Izzy. She hit a double one on the Kalani and Thea, I think. And then ended up climbing back up and getting the championship. Got a big pop. Good on Sol Ruka. She's talented, she's athletically gifted, and she looks good. She's somebody, as long as her knees hold up, because of her style, I'm a little bit worried, because she had that bad knee injury. I hope she's going to be all right. She's somebody they could build around. And Zarya, I don't get, I don't know, maybe I need to see more of Izzy Dane, but this Edward Culling feud just was not, or group is just not good. Speaking of not good, the D'Angelo family of Tony D, Stax, and Luca something or other. Luca Blight. No, Luca Blight would have actually just slaughtered everybody in this. There's like 2 people that will understand that reference. Everybody else is just going to say, who the fuck is Luca Blight? If you know, let me know in the comments. So they took on the Dark State, a.k.a. Timu Shield, a.k.a. Discount Retribution. Why? Who asked for this? Did Shawn Michaels book this? Because if he did, he's a fucking idiot. This was terrible. I don't care about the drama between the family. There's been tension between Stax and Tony D. Tony maybe going soft and Stax wanting to take over the family or just wanting to get more violent, or maybe he just wanted to make this feud interesting, but good fucking luck with that. Eventually, Stax ends up low-blowing Tony, and Dark State won. This could have been left off the goddamn program, and I don't think anything would have been missed. Sorry. I just, whatever. I don't know who's the woman? The woman in this, the blonde. Rizza? Something or other. What? Why? Why do you keep trying to revive the Shield concept when that got worn out before Seth Rollins turned? Anyway, what didn't get worn out was the next match. I mean, I think a lot of people would have been worn out seeing, the beauty of the first 2 participants, Julia and Stephanie Vacour, who are 2 of the most pitch-perfect talents and just beautiful goddesses that you will ever see. Combination of strength, talent, and my God. Jada Parker was also there. I have made my opinions on Jada Parker's views known, but Jada certainly has the ability to at least shine. She had a good match with Roxanne Perez sometime last summer. And Jordynne Grace is fine unless you hear her talk. I'm sorry, but if you have done so many goddamn supplements that your voice is deeper than basically like the bass voice of like any scream metal band, yeah, come on, you got problems. Listen to the band Epica and listen to that guy. Besides Simone Simons, who's tremendous. Listen to how that guy sounds, and he doesn't have as deep of a voice as Jordynne. And I'm sorry, I can't unhear it. Jordynne is talented, but nevertheless, kids don't do drugs. It's a 4-way women's championship match. Now, Stephanie was a double champion, gave up the North American title so other women could fight for stuff. And also, Julia either had an injury or they had to get the title off of her or something. She was only out for a few weeks. Whatever. So, 2 premier workers. Jordynne's good, and Jada, I think, unfortunately, is about where she's going to end up being. I don't know if she's ever going to break through a ceiling. Maybe she could bump through it. The Tower of Doom blockbuster was actually impressive. That was Jordynne lifting both, I believe, Julia and Vacour and Jada ended up doing the blockbuster. That was nice. And Grace just threw everybody around. That actually got some pretty good pops right there. Good God, Julia and Vacour, my word with respect. Absolute respect. Thank God I'm just a regular guy. Can you imagine? Only everybody deserves to have somebody, at least everybody that's good. And I hope Julia finds a way, and I hope Stephanie, especially for the bullshit she had to deal with in AAA, that she gets treated like the beauty that she is. And Grace stopped the leg vice, that, you know, the thing where Stephanie wraps her legs around and pounds somebody's head into the mat. And who would want to be on the receiving end of that besides me, endlessly? I'm fine, totally fine. We get that being stopped. We get the triple butt bump where everybody's stacked in the corner, and then Stephanie's able to do the leg vice thing and slam her knees and the person's head into the mat. Again, who would not want to be on the receiving end of that? And eventually she just does hit her finish, which I really don't think she needs to have that finish. She did kind of miss the moonsault or whatever she was trying to do before, but she ends up pinning Jada Parker, which, to be perfectly honest, Jada's the one that had to take the pin. And that's it. Stephanie retains. Now you can do Stephanie versus Jordan. You can do Stephanie versus Julia. You could give Julia the championship. Who knows? Considering that news came out about the WWE AAA, not partnership, but WWE buying AAA, it's going to be interesting to see if they, try to have some women there. Get rid of the people that are really, really bad, like Alberto El Patron and whoever the piece of shit is that abused Stephanie, and any allies, and then you actually might have a company. So, Oba Femi, Javon Evans, and Trick Williams took on each other in a three-way NXT title match. And I'm going to say right now that I love Trick's theme. And somebody needs to whoop Booker for constantly interfering with the goddamn beat of that whole thing. If he can't do commentary at least halfway right, then he shouldn't do it at all. So, Oba, they have something with Oba. They're doing the Oba chants like Goldberg. And Javon can jump and did some good stuff here. At 20, I don't know if he's going to walk by 25 if he doesn't slow down. But they got some with Oba. There was a double Samoan drop that got a big pop. There was a trick shot variation, but that got broken up. In big moves, they got countered. We got a cutter for 2, an outside DDT for 2. He slammed Oba. That got a big pop. Javon did. That was good. Oba went up for it. Javon got and sold it like, boom, I got it. And that was cool. Second cutter for 2. Trick pulled the referee out, said, I'm sick of your doing your job. So then Trick hits the trick shot, but there's no referee. And also Javon went into the barricade because Javon evidently wants to die. So Oba got sent into the table via a rock bottom. Then the trick shot, that is. The referee, by the way, then got stopped by Oba. This poor referee is just trying to do his job. And then we got, a hammer fist. We got a trick shot. We got a bomb to both. And then we got a bomb in, Oba got the victory 1, 2, 3. So there's your pop right there. Oba, truly one of the biggest shining stars they have there. Like, that's a guy that as long as he stays injury-free and stays scandal-free, I mean, I'm not that familiar with the guy other than he's very impressive. He's going to be somebody for a good 10 or so years that they could have him versus Gunther in like a year or two, and I'd be all for it. So Stand and Deliver wasn't perfect. You could have cut that 6-man tag out of there and it would have been fine. And while I'm glad that the women got to be on the pre-show, wasn't really necessary. Also, I think next year they need to move Stand and Deliver to Thursday. Just do it there. Or have it on the CW and give it a big production and just ask if you can have an overrun or ask if you can go on earlier or something like that. Or just have it on Thursday, because having it Saturday morning, yeah, you got a good crowd there, but that kind of kills it. It kills the idea of, like this big, event. It's just like everybody just wants to get through it to get to WrestleMania. Now, it had good stuff, but I think moving it a couple days early would be the right call. So agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.